So here's a short story about a young gal, only 22 years old, who shows some real integrity by cutting off her so-called friends when they wanted to rope her into their swinging open marriage lifestyle. And I will certainly give credit where credit is due when you have a young lady in this generation who, thanks to it being Sodom and Gomorrah 2.0, that's the world we're in right now, actually is not like the rest of them. And this is a real good one, guys, making the point that there are a lot of people out there that live lifestyles, and they can live that lifestyle how they want, but it doesn't mean you got to be a part of it. And when people try to rope you into that, and by sneaky means, that's when you cut these people off, because guarantee you, it's only a matter of time before it impacts you in a negative way. You don't need that drama. And again, since this gal's acting with integrity, and it's rare nowadays, I'm definitely giving her a shout out and showing and highlighting this. Titled, Am I the a-hole for discontinuing a friendship because my friend tried to set me up to swing with her and her husband? And a shout out to Jonathan for sending in this story. She says here, I'm 22 years old, and I was friends with a girl I'll call Emily, a 28-year-old female, her husband Mike, 29 years old, and Adam, 26. All fake names, of course. I would hang out with this group commonly for many months, up until shortly after our Halloween party that we all threw. I went through a breakup with them, arguments with my mom, etc., and they supported me. This, however, has been on my mind for a while, and I wonder if I'm overreacting or in the wrong in any way. Okay, she met this group, and they were there for her with problems in her life, breakups, and things like that. Very often, my friend Emily would mention that she could see Adam and I together and would try to talk to both of us separately to see if we had feelings for each other. Here we go, the matchmaker. But there's more to this. I just gotten out of a toxic relationship, so I wasn't very interested at the time, but grew to have feelings for Adam. Adam had feelings for me at one point, but decided we would be better off as friends, which we both had talked about and decided that was all it was between us. We continued to hang out despite the change. Okay, so be it. They're friends. Well, eventually, Adam and Emily, might as well call them Adam and Eve, and started getting super close, like play fighting, laughing at each other's jokes, Adam tickling Emily constantly. All the things you would consider flirting despite having a husband. Yeah, you can see where this is going here. Her husband would try those things with me, which I shut down immediately because I considered Emily a good friend. Now the husband's putting the moves on her. Adam and Emily are getting a little frisky, and the husband's putting the moves on her. And she's like, what the hell is this? But notice that she says she got out of a really bad, toxic relationship, and now she's entering in this friendship, and clearly you're going to see where this is going. I think she has a habit of attracting the wrong people in her life. Or maybe one could argue being attracted to the wrong people. I don't know. Shortly, I noticed that her husband would try to get even closer to me, including sending me various Snapchats during the day, walking me out to my car when leaving the house, texting me regularly about the day. I thought this was all because I was friends with him as well, but soon realized how inappropriate he was acting towards me while being married. Well, there you go. Something's up. And this is where somebody has boundaries, and you have to lay them out. I told Emily about it, and she insisted he was just being friendly. She then said that she is like that with Adam, but not flirting. I let it sit in my mind for a while. Well, this is where you trust your gut, seeing that this is just not right. And clearly, well, one night I went to their house for a movie night. Emily and Adam were sitting on the love seat together, laughing and play fighting, and then her husband and I were sitting on the bigger couch together. I was trying to stay as far from him as possible to respect their marriage. He then put his arm behind me on the couch and scooted closer and tried to put his hand in my hair. I slapped his hand away and got up and said that I had to go home because I was tired and had to work early. Man, these people are, Emily tried to beg me to stay, but eventually said it was fine. I went home, and as I got home, Emily and I were texting as usual when she finally asked how I felt about her husband. You want to elaborate, Emily? What do you mean how I feel about your husband? She mentioned that it was okay if I had feelings for him because it was human nature and she wouldn't be upset. I denied having any feelings for him and she asked if I was sure. I shut her down every time. What a freaking mess. She then asked why I had no feelings for her husband and got upset that I had no intention of being with her husband or having any relationship with him. This girl's probably like, what the fuck? Yeah. What do you mean you have no feelings for my husband? Because you're married and you haven't directly said to me that you were swingers or anything like that, which clearly you are here. I got upset and quit speaking to her. Her husband reached out to me a few weeks later to ask why I hadn't hung out with them since that night, to which I told him that what his wife did and left it at that. She also says something I forgot to mention. Throughout our friendship, she bought me many gifts, including American Eagle PJs, house shoes, James Avery, books, things like that. She threw that in my face and said that I was never there for her compared for everything she did or got for me. I then threw it in her face that I was there for her when she cried about not wanting kids, but her husband does want kids, and so they were having troubles. Now that is the abrupt ending to this. I'm going to go through the comments where she responds to different things here. So what you see was going on here is they were grooming her. They obviously chose her, and you're going to see this and more in the comment section. They were buying her gifts and stuff like that, roping her in. And then, it'd been one thing if they were upfront saying, we're swingers, da-da-da, you want to have fun with us? No? Okay, fine, no problem. But you saw this sleazy, literally sleazy way they were going about the whole thing. And so good for her. Good for her for cutting them off from her life. Good for her for actually respecting a marriage, even though they certainly don't respect it in a traditional sense. And I'm glad she's cut them out of her freaking life because you don't need that kind of drama. But people tend to be roped into drama. But again, guys, I'm glad to see this because, again, a lot of gals nowadays. Now, one has to ask, if she was actually attracted to that guy, would she behave differently? I'm going to guess not because she actually has some integrity, but a lot of gals would just be roll with it, if you will. Now, some questions and comments from different people where she talks more about what's going on. One guy says here, how did you meet these people? It almost sounds like this might have been a long-term plan. And she says, I met them while I was waitressing at a bar and grill. I asked them if I was checking up on them too much because I was checking on them quite often as they were my only table and they were outside, so it was hard to see if they needed anything. And they asked me to sit down and talk with them. Another guy says, not the a-hole. This would be the end of this friendship. She doesn't respect you or your boundaries, and this will probably continue to try and force their agenda on you. If you decide to remain friends, please stay vigilant and watch out for yourself while around them. I just couldn't trust this. She's also weird for throwing any gifts and things she did for you in your face. Shows her intentions were never pure. That's exactly it. Exactly. And this gal responds, oh yeah, I'm no longer friends with these people. Her husband tried to stay in touch and asked me to only snap him because she can see his text messages via phone bill service, and I blocked him. Good for her. And last one, this guy says, she was probably upset you said no to her husband because, from my opinion, 50-50 they agreed on if you say yeah to her husband, then she could say yes to screwing the other guy. Just a thought. And she responds, I'm thinking this too. Already having trouble in their marriage because one wanting children and the other one not. So they decided to mess around with two different people to get some quote-unquote happiness back. So there you go, guys. Another scenario where open relationship swinging messes something up. Things probably aren't going to last too long in that marriage, but because it's a mess, but that's their problem, not hers. But so anyhow, guys, if people try to bring drama into your life, if you are a person that's sociable and friendly, you get to know people, and real quickly, giving people the benefit of the doubt, you start seeing trouble, red flags, it's best to get out of there and move on. And so good for this girl. She's an outlier.